People are turning to social media almost before they turn anywhere. You're looking, when I hear about something, I almost always, before I even Google it, I almost always go to Twitter and check Twitter and see what's going on and see if there's
DuckDuckGo it.
DuckDuckGo?
Have you heard of that one?
No, what's that?
It's like a privacy-focused search engine. It's like pretty much the only privacy alternative to Google. It's like this idea that we say, oh, just Google it.
Right.
Like, why do we, our whole process has been to like purge proprietary surveillance tools from our company. And I've been trying to do it myself, like getting off Facebook, getting off Twitter, getting off Instagram. It's just like they're so abusive to everybody. And it's like, there's brilliant people who work there. I mean, Instagram is such a well-designed app. Are you kidding me? It's beautiful. But
so what do you think is abusive about it, particularly? Let's start with Twitter.
They're all the same.
They're all the same?
Yeah.
Do you think they're all the same because they're all gigantic businesses?
Yeah, and they're all the same because none of them share their source code. And they all spy on everybody. And they don't show you what is happening behind the scenes. They don't show you what the code's doing. So like in that note I wrote to you the other day, I compare it to like food transparency. 50 years ago, nobody thought about that. And then 20 years ago, everyone's like, I want to know what's in my food. Why wouldn't you want to know what's in your apps?
Yeah.
I mean, it's super sketchy what they're doing.
But how so? Like what's super sketchy?
We don't know, but we know that they're spying on everyone and tracking you everywhere you go. They're targeting things at you based on physical location, browser history. Even when you're not on those websites, they're following you around where you're going on the internet.
Looking for something on Google? You can search the web with real and organic search results and do it without anyone tracking your activity or data. We ourselves use Atlas VPN to protect our data online. Atlas VPN is more than just any other VPN. It blocks all malicious links, ads, and trackers, and notifies you when someone is trying to spy on or steal your data. If you want to grab Atlas VPN, they have a great deal going on right now for just $1.70 a month and 6 months extra for free. We've provided a link in the description you can use to grab this deal. Try it out with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Not only does it protect your data, it also keeps your searches completely private. Also, protect unlimited devices at once. No limits are set. One subscription only for the best price. That's why we use Atlas. Oh, did we forget to mention it saves you a lot of money booking online? It's that easy. Grab Atlas VPN using the link in the description and secure your data today.
And so some people accept that for this free search engine with free email and things along those lines. They accept the fact that a certain percentage of what they're doing is not going to be private. Mm-hmm. Or at least their searches are not going to be private. Like say if you search, like you're thinking about buying a Jeep and you search Jeeps, you look at 2019 Jeep, and then all of a sudden all your Google ads are about Jeeps.
Right.
They're like, we know you're thinking about a Jeep, Bill.
And I don't think that makes people want to spend more time on Google and Facebook. It freaks
What do you think it does?
out.
Do you think it freaks them out?
I think that we're just numb to it, and so we accept it.
Yeah,
but
I think it's more that.
Yeah, and so there's all different layers of like what we use with your browsers, your apps, your operating system, your food, your government, your energy. Like all of this technology has code that's associated with it. So, and when you open up your computer, when you sign into a browser, when you open up an app, you are empowering that app. That's how the apps of the world become huge, monstrous corporations. It's because we all use them every day.
Right.
So if you switch from, Mac OS to like GNU Linux or like Debian or Ubuntu, if you use Brave or Firefox, if you, DuckDuckGo is actually proprietary, which is annoying, but they are very privacy focused. And then there's apps, there's Minds, there's all sorts, there's other open source decentralized social networks out there that we can potentially federate with. There's really cool new interesting protocols like DAT and IPFS that are like more torrent style backend. So there's actually no servers in a giant warehouse like Facebook and Google. It's fully peer-to-peer. And we're trying to balance it because it's not like decentralization equals good and centralization equals bad, but like, you know, in order to get a sweet app like Instagram style, you need servers to like process video. And so the tech is still sort of immature in the fully peer-to-peer, like, you know, Bitcoin style internet, but we're definitely getting there. And I just think it's important for people to use things that are transparent to them and respecting our freedom.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with these giant companies is that once they become big, you kind of use them as a default, and it's very difficult to get people to communicate with you off of them. You know, it's hard to say, hey man, I'm launching this new social media app. I would imagine you could speak to this. I'm launching this new social media app, and I want you to join it. People are like, but I'm already on fucking Facebook. I'm already on Google. I'm already on Instagram. I don't want to do that, man. It's too much extra.
And we make it a million times harder for ourselves because we're not scooping into people's contacts and, you know, taking all their information.
That you're not.
We're
Minds.
not. No.
Okay.
So, like, when you give your address book to an app,
Who does that?
most apps,
You got to be an asshole.
you know, no, but when you say, oh, I want to find my friends who are on this app, and you share your contacts,
But you're not supposed to do that.
you're not supposed to do that, yeah. But most people do, and you know, your friends didn't give you permission to give Facebook their phone number.
Do you do that?
I probably used to, like 7-8 years ago, whatever, but I don't do it anymore.
I always say the same thing when it pops up. Get the fuck out of here. That's always what I say. Would you like to share your contacts? Get the fuck out of here. No, you can't have my contacts, you asshole. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Facebook is a weird one, man. It's such a sneaky one. You know, Facebook and, you know, like all this, the congressional hearings and the inner workings of it all, and the fact that it profits off of outrage, so it wants people to argue. Like the AI, the computer learning specifically wants people to have like contentious debates about things because that keeps their eyes focused on the website. And if your eyes are focused on Facebook, you know, then those Facebook ads are very valuable. It's really fascinating, man.
I think the outrage is unavoidable on any network. It's more, you know, are you gonna take down? They're taking down outrage.
Some, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it just seems so inconsistent and subjective.
Do you think that the algorithms are designed to do this, or do you think that it's just a function of human nature that we tend to gravitate towards things that outrage us and then huddle up together in echo chambers? That this is just a natural tribal behavior, and that what the algorithms do is essentially just highlight what we're really interested in.
They magnify it in a feedback loop, right? So you're right to say that humans do have these traits. You know, and I haven't designed the algorithms, but I've also talked to people who have, and, you know, a lot of it, they don't even understand how they work at a certain point. Like, they're off to the races.
Have you seen The Social Dilemma?
Yeah.
What'd you think about that?
It's great. It's
Amazing,
great.
right?
Yeah. You know,
Scary too. Like the conclusions that they draw.
Oh, certainly. I mean, I made a film about 8 years ago called Terms and Conditions May Apply. You know, and that came out right before the Edward Snowden revelations. You know, and when it came out, the initial response was like, oh, this is maybe conspiratorial. Surely the government doesn't have this much insight into our behavior and you know, and access to our devices and our personal information. And then the Snowden revelations came out, and then it was like, oh, well, maybe the series didn't go far enough. You know, and and back then we had talked about the idea of how is technology influencing us? How is it changing us, manipulating us? And it didn't feel like that was the biggest story at the time. And this question of privacy and how our rights are being eroded through these agreements that nobody ever really reads, and you could find all kinds of juicy tidbits hidden in there in terms of what the companies were actually doing, and kind of revealing this unholy collusion between the government and big tech. But at the time, people would often say, well, what's the cost? What's the big deal if they're mining my personal data to serve me with ads?
Yeah.
And I'd say that the environment we find ourselves in now is the cost.
Do you do anything to personally protect your data? Do you use DuckDuckGo for searches and things along those lines? You have Brave as a browser. Do you do that stuff?
All that, yeah.
Yeah.
Use Signal.
VPNs. Yeah.
VPNs. I mean, I do my best, if a government actor really wants to get at you, they're going to be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the NSO clickless spyware story, right?
Yes.
I mean, if there's a 0 day that allows you to get access to a microphone and everything that someone's doing on their phone without them even having to click on a link, it's game over. Of course, governments will abuse that.
Yeah, and probably are right now.
Yeah. Where are our phones at?
Right there. Yeah, it's interesting because you would think that there would be a market for a platform that becomes bulletproof. And there have been some, Linux-based cell phone operating system phones that they sell. They buy a phone, you get a Google phone, they de-Google it and put different software on it and stuff. But I'm not sure if that's if you're deluding yourself into believing that you're actually protected with that stuff, or you actually are protected.
Right.
I would think they could work around all those things, especially something that's, it's essentially open source, right? If it's a Linux-based operating system, there's some super geniuses out there. I'm sure they could be able to hack into that.
Yeah, I think with stuff like Signal, you're just protecting yourself as best you can.
Right.
You use something that's end-to-end encrypted. You're doing better than 99% of people who are out there. You're making somebody really have to work to get access to your stuff. And if you're using a VPN and you're using DuckDuckGo, then you're minimizing your digital footprint, and you're not worth as much to these companies, and they're not able to manipulate you, I guess, in the same way through these algos. But let me ask you this. What would you do about the algorithm problem, right? Because on the one hand, algorithms are necessary for something like a search engine. On the other hand, they drive the most sensational content, things like QAnon, and I think have largely facilitated the situation we find ourselves in now.